Hey, what's up guys? Lightsaber Samurai here. I'm back again for another video. Welcome to 2023. We are starting the new year off with a brand new video, and the goal is to try to be more consistent this year, but enough of all that. I wanted to talk about video game music today. I watched a video recently from our good friend Waves and Games in which he was talking about the similarities between video game themes and real world songs, and so that got me thinking about some of my favorite video game theme songs just throughout history. So in this video I wanted to talk about 5 of my very favorite video game theme songs. Without further ado, let's talk about it. Okay, so first up on the list is brought to us by Kinoyu Yamashita, and this is Vampire Killer from the Castlevania series. When I think of Castlevania, the most iconic track by far is Vampire Killer. It started all the way back in 1986 with the original Castlevania. From the first notes, Vampire Killer is just a hardcore rockin' track. It just gets you pumped and amped for the action, and even as the way it was translated in the original Castlevania on that the 8-bit chiptunes, I mean, there's just something so charmful about it. And it was really, for me, one of the first songs that was really pushing the limits of what video game music could be in the 1980s. Oddly enough, in keeping with Waves and Games video, I chose this one because another one of the things that stood out for me was the very first 2 notes of the song, and those 2 chords sound very similar to Thriller from Michael Jackson. Of course, Thriller came out the previous year, and it also has kind of like a spooky kind of Halloween gothic theme to the song, just like Castlevania does in its series. So I'm sure she drew some inspiration from that. Take a listen. When it comes to killing vampires and undead creatures of the night, you'd be hard-pressed to find another track better than Vampire Killer. Yamashita would stay on with Konami and flesh out a lot of soundtracks for pretty much every Castlevania game to come out afterwards, but again, my personal favorite is the old school Vampire Killer. Moving on to the second on the list, and this is in the number 4 spot. This is brought to us by Koji Kondo, and Koji Kondo is a real OG when it comes to Nintendo. He's worked on projects like Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, Punch-Out, and many, many more. And for me, my favorite Koji Kondo track, without a doubt, is definitely the Overworld theme from The Legend of Zelda. The Overworld theme is just a nice, spunky march type of track, and I mean, it just exudes the hero's journey, and that's one of the biggest things I like about it. I mean, just the way it's structured, it's very simple, but the slight droning that you hear in the background of every quarter note just gets you pumped just to walk and march. Actually, it's a song I used to play when I would go on runs or like exercise back in the day. If I was hiking on a long, I would have that in the iPod just going with the march. So anyway, of course, this song debuted in 1986 alongside the original Legend of Zelda and has appeared in pretty much every Zelda game ever since. My personal favorite rendition of this song comes from Link's Awakening DX on the Game Boy Color, and really it's just the nostalgia factor for it. The Legend of Link's Awakening is my favorite Zelda game, and one that I played, have fond memories of playing when I was a child, sitting on my Game Boy Color or my Game Boy Advance and just chilling in the living room or in my bedroom just playing that. It's crazy. The music in that, and in particular the Overworld March, was really one of those songs that really pulled me into the world of Hyrule, and even though I was staring at a small screen of my Game Boy, I would feel like I was really there. And then it'd be one of those things where I'd have to get up to do chores or do homework or whatever, and I would stop and put the Game Boy down, and then I'm just like, whoa, and I take a look around and I'm like back in the real world, so to speak. So I mean, again, this is the full package when it comes to just like the hero's journey. This would fit in almost any RPG, especially from the time period. So again, number 4 spot, Overworld theme. Okay, getting down to the number 3 spot, and this is one of my favorite theme songs of all time, of course, brought to you by one of my favorite sort of kind of underrated franchises of all time. This is Beyond the Bounds from Zone of the Enders, the second runner, brought to us by Mika Kimura in 2003. And the best thing that I like, the one word that describes the song to me is really just organized chaos. This song has so many layers in its production, from the foreign language that's mixed in with the English. The foreign language was actually kind of a made-up language that's based on Finnish, and it's mixed with Kimura's English translation. It's a fantastic song as far as the lyrics are concerned, and even though there's very little English words in the song, you kind of get the sense and the feeling of what the song is trying to tell you about kind of seizing the moment and all of that. It's definitely a combination that really exudes the cyberpunk feel and just the techno feel that the Zone of Enders series was going for. And I mean, it's something straight out of an anime, which is perfect because, again, that's a lot of what Zone of the Enders was kind of playing out as, like an interactive mecha anime. But again, this song, you just have to listen to it to believe it. If you played the game, you already know what I'm talking about. This song is like a 4 or 5 minute track that just, I mean, again, this was on my iPod on rotation when it came to exercising or running or anything like that. Like, and just the name of the song, Beyond the Bounds, it's kind of a song of just like pushing forward, seizing the day, transcending, becoming something other than what you were before at the start. Like, it's a fantastic tune, and again, just a tune that kind of centers around one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. So number 3, Beyond the Bounds. Okay, penultimate title on the list here, and I kind of went back and forth between this one and Beyond the Bounds, and even considered this for the first spot for a brief moment in time. This one is brought to us in 2015 by Donna Burke, and this is Sins of the Father from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And the Metal Gear Solid series has always had great music, but really a standout track for me was Snake Eater from Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, and that almost took this spot in the list. But if I had to choose between Snake Eater and Sins of the Father, I like Snake Eater and its James Bond-esque tune, but Sins of the Father, I mean, it's truly something else. Donna Burke, who actually has some voice acting chops in the video game world, she actually got her start doing a lot of stuff for Silent Hill, I believe. So she was the crazy chick in Silent Hill 2 with the knife, and then she was the main antagonist in Silent Hill 3. She's done quite a few other things throughout the video game world. She was Vanessa Lewis in Virtua Fighter, which is one of my favorite characters. So Virtua Fighter 4. This song starts off very soft, very flowing melody, but again, by that first, a lot of people know this song as Whoa Ho for this reason. Again, absolutely beautiful. Yes, the track is called Sins of the Father, and really, I mean, it's kind of fitting considering we're playing as Big Boss, Solid Snake's father in this, and so the story of Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of continues Big Boss's slide into going from, you know, hero to anti-hero to full-on antagonist by the time we get to Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake on the MSX. The song is simply breathtaking. Everything from, again, just just the crescendo and the use of crescendo to build upon the song. And it starts off again very subtle, but by the end of the song, like, you're just hardcore rocking out. And Donna's voice is absolutely amazing. Considering the voice acting work that she did in the past, like, you would never think that, I mean, she had the musical chops to bring this song to life, but that's exactly what she did. Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain is one of the best games in the series, and this is definitely, in my opinion, the best song in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. That's why it's number 2. Okay, so finally, the number 1 video on this list today. When I'm talking about my favorite video game theme song, there can really only be one. I briefly flirted with Sins of the Father simply because it's so good, but honestly, when it comes to something iconic and something memorable and just the way the song makes you feel, there's only one. And that is, of course, brought to us in 2000 by Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore. This is the main theme song for Bungie's space opera that spanned a franchise, kicked off a generation, really proving what first-person shooters can be on consoles. This was really combat evolved in its day, and everything, this song literally has everything. It almost feels like it's broken up into movements like an opera. It blends a ton of different styles very well, from the Gregorian chant that starts off in the beginning to the guitar parts, especially when Steve Vai gives his rendition in Halo 2. The song was so popular that you can unlock it, or it became like a bonus track in Guitar Hero 2, to the orchestral score that jumps in the in the later part of the song. Like, it has everything. The drums that starts off after the Gregorian chant, like, it's absolutely perfect. This song, again, the biggest thing about this song is the way it made me feel, and it truly made me feel like I was a hero out on this epic quest to save the world. And in my opinion, no other song has really conveyed the feeling, the sense of the feeling that you as the player should have better than Halo. Again, I can go on about this all day, but in my opinion, the very best video game theme song of all time is Halo.